Winner of this game gets top spot, loser goes to second and has to carry that scar all the way into playoffs. We are starting off thick and fast as EDG gonna get themselves the Jayce after banning away two top lane champions.
And that's the funny thing, right, is that for EDG, they were banning this in Game 1 and Game 2, but with Nuguri off the rip, not feeling like it's necessary and going to give Flandre this pick, it does open up some prio picks coming out. The Aphelios already being taken, the Viego, already being taken away. The Diana still being something that's left open if you feel like Jiejie maybe has had a good performance on it in the last game, but you could also always just maybe go towards an AD carry pick here, something like the Varus, which has been something they've been banning out from EDG in the previous games.
We'll see what they want to go for. Of course, the Viego, very good for Tian. I even think that despite how far behind he was almost 1v1ing topside. He was almost getting those kills back in his favor. I think it was just the wallet of EDG that stopped them from really getting those advantages back into FPX's favor. And whoa, we're going to see EDG go straight away back into it. So the full topside has been locked and loaded. It's going to be a Jayce versus Wukong, a Lee Sin versus Viego, and a Sylas versus Twisted Fate.
And this is really interesting, right? Scout bringing out the Twisted Fate has not played it so far this split, but man, this would be such a drastic shift for EDG to play more around topside. We still don't know what's coming on bot lane just yet. That Twisted Fate definitely could potentially have options on where to play around. But when you have a Jayce and you have a TF, you do expect to see those making plays together. On the opposite side for FPX, Wukong versus Jayce is a matchup we've already had today. It does have avenues to play around the Stone Skin passive coming out in the early game. Level 6 being able to look for those all-ins. You have Doinb who's able to take away the Destiny with the Sylas and be able to follow as well. And Sylas being much more useful in those skirmishes than Twisted Fate, who pretty much does just become a gold card bot. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on that one. In FPX, they don't want to give Viper that Ezreal once again. Hopefully not having to deal with any mages in the bottom lane. For FPX, you can just blind pick your AD carry here, save, support, counter pick, then hopefully have a much easier time in the 2v2 lane. So 4 AD carries for Lwx now that the Varus is off the board. We're kind of getting down into the thick of things. You can always pick something like a Thresh here and maybe bring out a hyper carry like a Jinx. If not, you're bringing out, I'd say, something a bit off meta, something a bit unexpected. Ashe still being up as well, but it isn't something Lwx has played so far this split.
And this is something that FPX have, well, I'd say most teams have identified as a weakness of FPX, is when they get down to that bot side, if they're not getting a priority matchup that they can survive in, it does tend to get a little bit dicey, as we do see the Ashe locked and loaded for the first time for Lwx in summer 2021.
Now I'm going to be curious where EDG do go. We've been seeing a lot more teams also fall onto Jhin recently, just trying to match that pressure. But EDG have not been one of them. EDG have pulled out other things along the lines of the Dravens, the Kog'Maws, like more obscure AD carry picks coming out. So seems like they are going to go that route. Going to get some all-in the bottom side with this Kalista into a matchup that some people would think is a bit unfavorable with, you know, the slows coming out from Ashe, just being able to consistently spam that volley. Now I'd be curious. They hovered the Taric. I don't expect them to go for it, but that would be pretty interesting when you do have so many melees on the opposite side who do want to look to all in you. For now, it does seem like they're pretty set on going for something that does provide a bit of peel.
Yeah, we are going to see EDG going to go back towards the Braum, so a nice little bit of engage, good bit of safety as well, as we do now see what the side of FPX want to round out their comp with. A little bit of trivia there for Lwx. Last time he played the Ashe in the LPL was in the 2020 regional finals, so been about a year since the last time he's played it competitively on this stage. Of course, played it in the Nest tournament in 2020 as well, but again, a lot different side of things because the meta changes and everything moves around the ships, and the game itself becomes a completely different beast. And the Rakan locked and loaded here for FPX. They have another dive buddy to add to their collection. They are looking to try and just get into the faces of EDG.
Yeah, FPX once again going for a comp that just wants to dive onto EDG. EDG having a lot more of a pick comp, also does have some team fighting elements. Kalista Braum, not the typical dual lane that you do see with Kalista, right? Something typically more aggressive that can look for those all-ins, where maybe something like a Leona or Nautilus or elsewhere will go for the engage, and you have that Fate's Call to pull them out. So I'm going to be curious to see how EDG do play this one out. As we highlighted, you would expect maybe a more top lane oriented route to come through with the fact that you do have the Twisted Fate plus the Jayce. You do have some mid lane setup as well between Twisted Fate and Lee Sin. So a lot of options for EDG's comp in terms of where to look for kills early on.
Now the teams are locked and loaded. The final game of the regular split, the final game of this bout of our top teams. Winner of this match gets themselves that #1 spot. Will so far, until we get into playoffs, be undisputed #1 team at the top of the LPL, whereas for the loser, they're going to second, but a lot of learnings to build towards the playoffs. Of course, both these teams already locked into our double elimination portion of our playoffs, but you want to have that momentum. You want to have that belief that you can take down probably one of your biggest rivals as the final game is here. Halo Blades going onto the Braum as he tries to get himself an aggressive move into that bot side. No Guardian here for him. Lyric, it is time. We are jumping onto the Rift for the final time in 2021 summer regular split. And everything shall be left on the Rift today.
And it is just absolutely crazy to think, right? The final game of the regular season of LPL. After this, we're going to be getting into our best of 5 soon. And this being the battle for first place to finish off the regular split. Are you going to be in the top side of that bracket with teams like top esports, teams like RNG? Are going to be, second seed battling with teams like BLG, teams like RA. So, going to be an interesting one. I wouldn't say either side being easy, right? I think there's definitely like the top side of the bracket being higher skill ceiling teams like RNG and top esports, but teams like BLG and RA I think are a lot more consistent than those other teams do provide. So definitely scary things no matter what, but doesn't matter, Penguin, because FPX and EDG probably come in as favorites against anyone.
Honestly, they have the confidence, they have the momentum to know that they could beat anybody. And that's what makes our playoffs so exciting. Coming into our top 10, honestly, I believe every team can beat every other team on their day. That's why it's going to be so much fun coming into these best of 5s as we look towards this third and final game. Tian going to start on his red, as is Jiejie, so mirrored start, or excuse me, equal starts on either side. And I want you to talk to me about this Halo Blades Braum. Why do we see it? What can we expect from it now that it is being picked up here by Meiko?
Right, it's kind of the same logic as like what we see from the Trundles, is this more aggressive early all-in power. I think it makes even more sense for Braum from the fact that it also helps you proc your passive sooner, get that stun off, get some more damage down. That's also why he's running the Ignite, is they're showing they want to look for this aggressive lane, all in with the Braum passive, get the damage down, and start taking over the lane from here. So for EDG is, trade top comes out. XiaoXiaohu's level 2 first.
Ooh, he got the level 2, and that decided everything in that fight. You can see there's the hawk shots. They're going to know exactly where Jiejie is as well, so a little bit of added utility you get with the Ashe pick, and early trading going in favor of XiaoXiaohu, and gotta feel a little bit scared now if you're Flandre.
Yeah, and I gotta say overall, I actually do prefer FPX's comp. I think FPX's comp matches what EDG do pretty well in terms of having the Sylas ultimate and AShe for picks, but also is able to fight for prio, also can team fight, to where EDG's comp definitely looks just straight up looking for picks, very squishy. I think it will struggle later on, but we're seeing Tian look for Jiejie. Doesn't actually spot him out. Doesn't know he's here.
Ships in the night. They don't know that each other is there. Jiejie, they're going to walk down and maybe show himself a little bit. Oh, not quite. Tian now going to leave. And oh, the timing. It's just a little bit too late. Now Jiejie shows himself, and Tian going to walk away. So the information is in favor of FPX, not in favor of EDG. But now you can see Scout thinking that he's safe, thinking that he's got himself an opportunity, but a good flash away from the abscond abduct means that he keeps himself safe. Lands a gold card onto Tian just for good measure. And now Scout needs to be a little bit careful. We are going to see the bot lane of FPX roam over, try and get something here. Meiko is there, and Scout's still being chased down. He does not have much of an escape, and now we can see in this bot side the damage coming out from Lwx with that approach velocity. They're going to try and go in on top of this flash away from FPX quick, as he might have well given away his life. Lwx now being chased down. 2 kills going over to Viper, and it's going to be a TP as well. Doinb picks up the scraps, but now Scout is here. Can they find another kill off of this? I don't think they can. Never mind. Jiejie is here. He is here to save the day for the side of EDG. They're going to try and get the slow down, but they can't quite get it. Now with both junglers and mid laners here, there's gonna be a fight over the blue buff.
And Penguin, take a second to catch your breath, because that was 1.5, 2 minutes of non-stop action coming through. EDG, I'm a bit scared for FPX right now, just for the fact that Viper has 2 kills. I repeat, Viper has 2 kills. Not a good thing when we think back to last game. Still, FPX's mid-jungle still being the core of trying to find advantages for this team. We're going to see Tian go for this play, knowing, hey, I can't opt for this topside scuttle. Looks like the wave was pushing back into XiaoXiaohu. They are able to get scouts flash out. He really is nowhere where he's able to run with the fact that the bot lane is also covering that tri-brush. So Tian holds the flash, goes in with his stun as well, and opens up for Doinb to find the pick. As Lwx, you are actually probably fine. Does it flash up?
Yep, as his flash available to him, no one really coming to take the extra damage down onto him. Is Wukong going to find a little bit of an unfavorable trade in this top side as we come back into the game, and kills even, but like you said, very important to note that it is going to be Viper on this Kalista. And we talk about Viper, obviously Kalista being a very early game champion, and the reason why we probably don't see it as much anymore is that teams have gotten very, very good at stopping that early game snowball, but now that that has been started, it could become an avalanche in favor of EDG.
I also think she's a champion that, you know, struggles against the range of a lot of other champions that are currently in the meta, and how certain champions have gotten buffed over the past few patches, like Aphelios. But it is still a niche pick that we do see every now and then. Does have the ability to completely take over a game once it does get ahead. Does open up, I'd say, more options in terms of controlling neutrals coming out from your end. And with Scout being pretty close to 6, should hit 6 on this wave, you will have the ability to start playing through that bot side pressure.
They will see now where they want to go for this top side. There was a jungler for FPX to keep Wukong
Jiejie's
safe.
coming up, Penguin.
He is coming up, but there is a Cyclone available for the Wukong now. Jiejie should be revealed by this ward, so they know exactly what's going on, but I don't know if they can stop it. XiaoXiaohu now kind of caught between the serve. Very difficult to make this dive work, though, for EDG. I don't know if they want to fully commit to it, because it could go horribly wrong. As I say that, we are going to see a full commitment there. As Tian now here, we're going to see the Destiny Gate come out as well. That's going to be Doinb stealing it and taking it back onto this top side. He's going to be able to take down 2 kills himself. Doinb is not done with this game, and he is not done with this series, Lyric. As we go back down towards this bot side, it's just a trade of a little bit of health bars, and that was a nice steal of an ultimate there from FPX, able to capitalize on Twisted Fate being recalled.
And it feels like this is what the series is turning into, right? It's the battle of top side for FPX against the bottom side for EDG. Scout looking for a play of his own.
Yep, he's going to find himself the gold card onto Lwx, who has got flash but knows he's dead, and there's no real reason he should use it just there. Another kill goes over. It's 2 kills top to 2 kills bottom, and we know where these teams want to play.
And now it's the question, Penguin, and for all the fans out there as well, who do you have more faith in, Viper or Doinb? We've kind of already hit on some of the differences of these comps coming out, so I don't think for FPX it's a complete shutout, despite the fact that they are 1.5k gold behind, but that's who we're looking at. We're looking at the Sylas. We are looking at the Kalista to take over. We're going to get a replay of, I guess, Doinb taking away the Twisted Fate ultimate. So EDG have this information. They're still going to look for this play. Oh, we come back into more kills.
Yeah, we got to come back into one more kill going over onto Scout. It's going to be Tian taking that one up for himself. Gold card locked and loaded, and Crips cannot tank no more. There's the Lee Sin kick stolen by Doinb. Meiko, however, will not land the Winter's Bite, so FPX should be able to get themselves back out. And 5-5, EDG kind of being dragged back into similar Game 1 territory where it's scrappy, it's fight after fight after fight, and that's where FPX thrive.
That is where FPX love to play, right? Especially the fact 3-0-2 now on the Sylas. Did opt into early Lucidity boots, so not being on his Mythic like Viper, who is already on that Immortal Shield bow, but doesn't matter what the lead he has with the pick that FPX were able to find in mid doing this Dragon, and Doinb also making his way down towards bot, but I think Viper's way too close to his turret for FPX to tangibly turn this into anything. EDG on the opposite side, though, we can see on the minimap, they're going for Herald.
Yep, they're able to trade this one over the other side. Tian going to try and just keep Scout underneath his tower. You can see the wave, not really in an ideal position, but now Tian freed himself up. They have got the Cyclone available to them should they want to go for this fight. There's going to be this taking of the Rift Herald, but they cannot reclaim their prize. The eye shall go untaken as Meiko now with Viper trying to see that this is going to be a little bit more of an engage here. I don't know if Lwx has much places to go,
He's
but
level 4.
Back up to the top side. It's 2v2 down the bot side, 3v3 up on the top lane. You cannot fight for this Rift Herald. There's too many big ultimates here, and that is going to be enough for them to take a kill and deny the Eye of the Herald from going down. But EDG still gaining huge margins in this bot side.
I mean, it's just ringing true, right? It's continuously doubling down on where the carry threats and where the strong sides of each team are. I mean, going back to the bot lane point, Crisp is level 4. Meiko is level 6. This is not a good time for the FPX bot lane. Viper now even making his way up to level 7, so him stay in this lane as a 1v1 comes out. XiaoXiaohu doesn't have ultimate, but still might be able to fight. It has red buff.
Yeah, has red buff and has got the flash advantage as he goes back in. Nowhere for Flandre to go. Nice solo kill there from the sub-mid laner as FPX get themselves back into the advantage in this top side. But now, with bot lane under contention, they're looking to try and take this turret as Tian now in a little bit of trouble. Is a bit by himself, gonna have to use the Heartbreaker over the wall. Does get gold card in on top of him straight away with the Glacial Fissure, and that's gonna be Scout picking up a kill as the rest of the fight can really happen. There's a Destiny Gate, they're trying to catch out Doinb and take him out in this game. Meiko, though, was behind the wolves and wasn't able to land the Winter's Bite. You gotta be careful, though, Chris. You're against a level 7 Kalista, and he has to back themselves away. Another traded kill for EDG as they keep themselves in the gold advantage.
I honestly feel like FPX can't even look to salvage bot lane at this point, right? This is one of those situations where the lane is so far behind, they're so out of it, behind by what looks like about 25 CS, that it's pretty much done, right? Viper even back to being able to pick up his plated steel cap, so no damage is going to be able to come out from FPX's bot side. And if Jiejie is there, and if, you know, the EDG soul laners have TP, anytime it delves into like a 3v3 or 4v4, EDG's bot lane will be the one to win out. So we see Tian coming here, and Tian's opting into this. He knows where Meiko is, he knows the members of EDG are on this side of the map, is in the corner of our screen. Scout's dead.
Scout is in fact dead. We're going to see the stolen Lee Sin ult by Doinb, able to knock back the Lee Sin of Jiejie. So again, great little bullying match here in the mid lane. 2-3-1 versus the 3-0-3 of Doinb. And Jiejie try to just clear out the waves, make sure he can't get any more advantage. But by doing so, he's going to be losing a lot of his jungle.
And it's just going to continue down to the trade, right? Where I would even argue the same thing for EDG. You probably just have to pay no mind to top side, but they are going to bring in multiple members. But the thing is, there's just no time. There's no way you can contest this, right? You just have to be continuously all-inning on your Kalista. And it feels like you should just be going for split map plays at this point in time. There's no neutrals up. There's no Herald, no Dragon yet. Dragon in a minute 30. And just keep playing on your strong side, take away enemy jungle camps, so on and so forth. So trying to save Flandre, but Flandre can't be saved, Penguin.
No, he cannot be saved at this point in time. Sadly, having a bit of an off game on this Jayce. We are going to see the Ashe ultimate wish past the hairs of his chinny chin. Scout able to keep himself alive. Viper picks up all of this solo gold, gets himself a nice 600 boost in his pocket, or his satchel, as we have discussed on previous casts. Depends on what he's got going for him. And now, Flandre, he could be dead again, and as he does get the knockback, XiaoXiaohu able to keep himself in the ascendancy here, still has a level advantage, and it's just difficult times now for the EDG top side. He's just going to have to accept his fate that he's just not going to be able to do much in this matchup, and hope the Viper carries.
We're getting a replay of what we did see happen in mid lane, though. Doinb's TP coming out. Looks like Chris did avoid any wards with the path that he did take from base. And just able to get in there. Jiejie not able to save him in time with the amount of burst that Doinb does have. Doinb still not even on his mythic item just yet, so waiting for that Everfrost to come out, but Viper on the opposite side, they really got to be careful.
They really, really do, as we now got the turret being taken here by EDG. They know the Tian is around because of the encroaching mist. They're just going to take a couple of plates, back themselves up. 10 seconds till Dragon spawns, put themselves on the board with that particular objective. It's probably the plan from them here, as we can see now. XiaoXiaohu trying to see if he can get a bit more of a favorable trade down onto this Jayce. Still hasn't got the Cyclone back off of cooldown, so waiting for that one to really happen as Crisp, with Doinb having that stolen Destiny Gate, may look to try and just put more pain on this Jayce. Yep, looking like they're going for it straight away. There's a Destiny Gate right down. He's going to try and go for it, not quite landing the Everfrost, but he does land the Abduct. And that is enough to take him down. 0-4 for this Jayce. It feels bad, man. But Jiejie just saying, it's okay, bro. We're getting a dragon.
And even Scout can have pressure on the opposite side. Not going to be able to turn that into a dive mid, which would have also been kind of nice if they could have done that when the topside play was happening. But both Tian and Chris were hovering in river the whole time, never fully committed to the topside play. So no play like that able to come about. But EDG with this bottom lane are still going to be able to control pressure in river. No objectives on the map, though. Doubt we're going to see too much come out from this. I feel like FPX will be the side that do control side lanes from the fact that Wukong, Sylas, definitely much more potent of a 2v2 than, you know, TF Lee Sin or Lee Sin Jayce for any answer like this. I feel like you should pretty much continuously look to combo the Sylas with the Wukong and look for these kills. And even in 1v1 matchups, right? With how far out of it Jayce is, and with the fact that you're the other solo laner on EDG is a Twisted Fate, FPX should continuously have pressure in these 1v1 matchups to garner prio on sides. True for EDG, it's going to be about garnering prio through mid as a 3 to 5 man core.
Oh, Tian. Just got caught out by the Winter's Bite, but not able to stack anything else off of that, so keeps himself safe and had the Flash available and the Heartbreaker, so shouldn't have been in too much trouble. But like I said, with coming up to 15-minute mark now, we got ourselves a pretty even game, about 500 gold in favor of EDG, as Flandre finally getting some solo time up in this top side, seeing if he can get something. But with everyone on FPX now being on the Rift Herald, they will look to try and just take this objective and get themselves back onto the map. That being said, though, EDG saying, look, we're not happy about us losing out on our Rift Herald. We're going to try and get yours. There's a Destiny Gate coming out for the side of EDG. The Unbreakable being popped up on side of Edward Gaming, as EDG now looking to try and see if they can deny this. But there is the ult there committed to on top of the Braum. We're going to see Scout try and keep everyone alive with a single gold card, but I don't think he can. There's 2 kills for Doinb, a 3rd for the side of FPX, a 4th. Why not? They get themselves a Rift Herald, and they also get themselves a team fight win. They're going to have so much more priority now as they look for multiple more objectives.
I think we saw the awkwardness of the way these fights will go for EDG if they opt into, you know, things like this. Because for FPX's composition, you have a front line, you have lots of engage, you have ways to get onto the back line. For EDG, your comp is relatively squishy coming out. You have a Braum, and your only real engage right is Kalista throwing your Braum in. Sure, you have your W to get away, but I think it's kind of awkward for EDG, and they can really only play around picks first. And she needed Crystal Arrow to start this off on Jiejie because they do want to contest for this Herald. And then both Doinb and Chris was able to get on the back line as Sylas and Rakan. Even XiaoXiaohu able to follow up with the ultimate. And it's like, what could you do? Because as, we're going to see, they didn't get the Herald today. They didn't get the Herald. Well, you know what? You know what? They got the kill. We can move on from it. They got the gold lead back. Things are fine.
I mean, it's just you did everything so right, and it's just like you forgot to write your name on the exam. That's what happened. Just like it was just like you get a flat 0 for it in an examiner's eye. You didn't even write your name. God damn it. But yeah, it's still great for FPX. Of course, a little faux pas right at the end, but it is still a 1 fight. They have a 6-0-5 Sylas. Doinb looking to get himself up to another MVP performance. Will be 1 behind Knight, so still cannot make it up to his level. But I gotta say, EDG just not really going to be looking for anything else out of these team fights. They have to look for picks. They have to look to try and find odd number skirmishes, or they're just not going to really be in a position to fight.
It's also awkward when it's like, yeah, hey, we're EDG, we have a global, but it's like, oh, the opposite side is a Sylas, so they can also have a global every now and then to match your play.
Uno reverse.
And for TF, right, you literally just scale into a utility bot. You have Everfrost, you have Rapid Fire Cannon. You're not going to provide too much other than that gold card. Doinb.
Oh, not quite able to get it. I will say, as we come into this fight now, they could look for maybe a fight onto Meiko, but still got to be very, very careful. The quickness was committed there to that particular play, and while that's all been happening, Scout's been free pushing in this top side. He even has his jungler in tow to keep himself nice and healthy and nice and secure, if you will. They're just going to try and deny some camps, deny some waves, and dragon spawning in 45 seconds could be the next fight for these two sides.
You know, if there's going to be any possible way where I think EDG can take this game, it'll be from things like this, where FPX overcommit, overforce, where EDG are very safe, like right under their tier 2 turret. They actually use 2 ultimates, use Doinb and Crisps to look for that play, and they just give Scout free access on a side lane, and we're going to see a very RNG-esque style of play come out for EDG. If EDG give into their, you know, their feral instincts, their normal habits, and look for these 5v5s, I think it can be quite rough for them. They do only have the Jayce poke coming out, but it's like, think about it. Twisted Fate, Kalista, Lee Sin, everything else, very low-range champion that things like Wukong, Sylas, Rakan love playing against.
Wait and see. Dragon is now live. It is being taken by FPX, so EDG don't really want anything to do with this one. They're happy enough letting that one go. They're getting priority on the top half of the map, and Quick look at the items. You can see where the discrepancies tend to lie. In bot lane, it is a full item and a half ahead for Viper compared to Lwx. And on the top side of mid, it is a full item and a bit for the mid laner and top laner of FPX over their respective counterparts. And this is where Doinb might look to try and make him give himself a perfect game or a perfect KDA, as he is still sitting on 6-0-5. They are pushing aggressively into this bot side. The Kalista ult has been stolen. Curious about the interaction on that particular one with Sylas, of course, and we wait to see exactly where FPX want to go. They're kind of pushing and prodding between mid and bot, seeing if they can catch someone on a lazy rotation.
Yeah, big thing for FPX is, caught out Meiko.
They caught out Meiko, but he's a tanky boy with that unbreakable up. Doinb forced to go golden early on in this fight. We can see Crisp going back in with the quickness, trying to see if he can keep himself alive. They go in with the stolen fates call to chuck him back right on top of everybody. Ashe goes down, but they take away the Braum. Now Viper trying to just kite this one out. He cannot, as it's a double kill going over to XiaoXiaohu. And that's going to be 3 kills in favor of FPX and the mid lane tier 2.
That's like the best place for FPX to get kills. They were already pushing in the waves. They're already by the turret. They guarantee themselves a free objective. 17 kills to 7 for FPX at this point. This is going to be a Baron. And I really like the 2-lane setup coming out from FPX in that play. I think they realize if they commit to 3 lanes, that opens up a potential play for EDG with the Destiny. But wait, Jiejie gonna look for his way in, see if he can find some kind of miracle play.
Oh, he's looking. He's hunting. He's trying to see if he can get it. He now knows the Baron down to 2,000 HP. Does he go in on top of this? He's going to try and look for the Q. Doesn't land it onto the Baron just yet. Now we can see actually Crisp dying straight away. Nowhere to go in. Goes in. No steal available, though, as FPX secure that objective and get them the hell out of dodge. They're jumping now on top of the clone of the Wukong. That's going to be 1 kill in favor of EDG, but they lose the Baron, so FPX, mission accomplished.
Did you just see how quickly that decision was made, though, right? Because they saw that Jiejie was there, and they realized the second we get this Baron Smite off, so many members of EDG are collapsing, we flash out, we get out. There was no indecisiveness there. They knew the plan from the get-go once they started to see the posturing, and they were able to get out scot-free. We're going to see FPX play through this 2-lane setup like we highlighted, looking for potential picks if members of EDG try to get vision in their jungle. Also prevents the plays from EDG's comp to be able to come out with the Destiny. And I mean, this one is just pure chaos, Penguin. Everything is funneled into such a small space. We see Meiko being thrown back in with the Kalista ultimate, and then Viper was just so close walking forward to the side into that brush. And it's like we said, you're so short range, you're always going to be in reach of things like the Viego, like the Sylas, like the Wukong. It's very easy for them to turn onto it, and it just panned out as expected. You look at the KDAs of FPX topside, they are insane as, Jiejie trying to find a flank, but I really don't think it matters, right? Even if you kick Lwx, does it really mean all that much?
What does life mean? You know, Lyric, what does it all mean? That's all the questions we gotta ask ourselves coming into LPL. Sorry, I got so used to the action. A lull has thrown me for a loop a little bit. As I agree though, like the Lwx is not the priority target. I guess you could maybe look to kick back the Viego, stop him from getting resets, but still very tanky, still very has a lot of survivability. Like you said, it's just more hopefulness I feel from EDG rather than FPX. But I think this game is still very much FPX game to lose. They should be able to clean this one out. They've got the superior side lane, of course, with the Wukong going into the Jayce. They've got the superior lane dominance in the mid lane, and also that's just a straight up superior team fight. And speaking of which, we might see one right now. We're going to go in, the Obsana Dot. That's going to be a nice Everfrost from Scout. But he has no flash and nowhere else to go. So sadly for Scout, he's going to keep his Zhonya's cooldown for when he would be able to make it useful. And he's going to back himself up. But now FPX, with 40 seconds still left on this Baron, going to continue their push of taking down all these tier 2s.
And they still have a lot of engage tools. Enchanted Crystal Arrow up, the Cyclone is up. Like, if EDG play too far forward, I think FPX can just find a fight and end. So they got to be careful. They are going to back off. They realize they can't look for this fight. And this should be an inhibitor for the side of FPX.
Could be an inhibitor, maybe a little bit more as we do go forward. Doinb not quite able to land the Everfrost, but we are going to see the Glacial Fissure from Meiko come out. Actually, I do apologize. It was actually, no, it was both. It was Meiko and Doinb both using their Glacial Fissures, respectively, as we go jump in on top of the fight. It's a 4v5 as of right now. Jiejie's the first one to fall. They're trying to get this Kalista going over the wall. It will find one kill, as Doinb is not afraid. Doinb is going forward and knows that he's got the damage and the trust of his team behind him. FPX find 2 more kills off of that fight, and they may look to try and just end the game right here, right now. They're going to go back with Doinb. He's going to TP back into the mid lane, and they're going to look to try and take in another inhibitor.
And I'm just scratching my head at EDG. They must have been feeling desperate because Jiejie goes in. I'm wondering if he's trying to find the kick on Ashe, finds the kick onto Crisp. And of course, the rest of FPX's members are just going to be able to turn on you and find that fight. I mean, just gives over more kills and more gold to the side of FPX. They get another turret out of that play. They can now even more easily transition to bot side, keep up this vision, push this wave in, and get a dragon. And I mean, 7k gold in, 20 kills to 9. It just feels like FPX are pretty much all but set to take the first seed.
Right now, it's looking very bleak for EDG to continue this game in a winning fashion. We can see Meiko being spotted out by the Hawk shot. We have a look now at the items. We actually see a little bit of a replay here. Not quite sure what's going on in it. Oh, it's just actually using the
Kalista bind.
That's how it works. Got it. Thank you very much, observers, for showing us for this in the start. Sylas does get himself a Kalista bind, so it's going to be always on Crisp. So, again, great moves here from FPX, and Doinb 6-0-11. Guy is a monster. I really do believe that I want top esports versus FPX just purely for Knight versus Doinb, because that's just such a tantalizing matchup.
Yeah, if we don't get it at some point in a best of 5, it would be quite sad. As FPX, once again, they have supers in topside. They can just play out through this 2-lane setup again, not give windows for any type of, like, global play from the Twisted Fate to catch out one side when you do have members like Tian hovering between both. XiaoXiaohu now going to link up with mid to make sure that they can get this inhibitor. And I wonder if they're going to wait for bot wave to come in or just look to play with these 2 waves. Doesn't look like they can. EDG are still playing really safe.
Yep, EDG planting themselves between their 2 Nexus turrets and say, we shall not be moved. As now they look to try and just defend the rest of their base. Good poke coming in from Flandre to try and get something down, but like I said earlier, Tian's a tanky boy. He's going to be pretty okay with this. Good wave clear here from Viper as he has gone with the ultimate, is going straight back on top of him. The Cyclone is enough to take down Jiejie's eye. Viper is still alive. He's looking to try and keep himself there, but it's not enough. It's going to be 2 kills for the Wukong. Another kill. 5 on the board for FPX. They will take themselves the full ace. I was going to say it was clean, but not quite, as Tian does fall. FPX will finish off the game how they started this series, with a win atop the LPL and your #1 seed for summer 2021.
We got to see standout performances across the board. Doinb having another massive day. This guy just shows up every time he needs to, almost never having a bad performance. We'll forget about the Lilia game. But FPX, lock in first seed. EDG now moved to second. We have our playoff brackets. We have our matches. One thing we were speculating with this match, Penguin, is I'd say the mentality it gives you going into playoffs, right? Going into best of 5s of knowing, hey, we have already taken down this team, but still, EDG also did have one pretty dominant win, so I'd say decent showings on both sides. We saw some errors in decision making from FPX in game 2. We saw some drafting errors, some like mistakes in play for top side of EDG. There was like good things and mistakes on both sides, and I think it opens up to a very exciting playoffs. But FPX just able to pull it out once again. I love it. FPX bringing so much person out of the league, Penguin. They even subbing their sub top laner, bringing XiaoXiaohu, and they didn't lose a beat. If anything, looked like they were more in sync and more on the same page with how they wanted to play the game.
Honestly, I was just about to say, I think, there could be a couple of questions over the substitution, but I do believe in this particular matchup, XiaoXiaohu was the better matchup for the 2. I think Flandre was able to mitigate and absorb a lot of Nuguri's pressure in game 1 and even in game 2, so I do think that this was a great adaptation from FPX, and honestly, I can't say it anymore. Doinb has just been on fire. I just want them versus top esports. I want it. I need it, Lyric. I need it.
Doinb has transcended the LPL in League of Legends, and he now is the LPL in League of Legends with performances like this coming out. And I want to highlight what Doinb said earlier on in the day. Remember 2019, the last time where FPX took first seeds coming out from the regular split, they actually took it in both spring and summer, was the year that they won LPL for the first time of the year they won Worlds. So I think this is a decent omen that really has no correlation. It actually doesn't matter at all, but it's super cool.
It is, and we're going to get our MVP. It is, of course, going to be Doinb. This guy is just on fire. He's popping, he's locking, he's polka dotting, but 13 is a fantastic number. It is unfortunately unlucky for the MVP of today's game, as it is one short of Knight, so he's not going to be able to get the most MVPs of the split, or at least of the regular split. And honestly, I think FPX are coming into this playoffs on such incredible confidence, on such incredible high, that I don't even think they care about what bracket or side of the bracket they're on. They can probably take on anyone, and comfortably so.
I mean, I think a lot of us have been saying it for a few weeks now, that FPX look like the best team in the LPL right now. I definitely think there's, always asterisks on some of the other teams where they can step up and definitely beat FPX on a day, but it looks like when FPX are on point, when FPX are feeling themselves, I feel like pressure is just the best word to define FPX. They put so much pressure on you. They're consistently making decisions and forcing you to make decisions, forcing you to react. And it's just so hard to do that in the moment consistently. Think about how many times we come out of replays and we're already going into something new into an FPX game. Fastest average game time, highest champion kills per minute. This team does not give you time to think, and this is a team who knows what they want to do.
And that's the big thing as well. When FPX are able to force you, like we mentioned so many times in this series, they're able to bring you into their turf, into their comfort zone. They do it better than everyone else. That's why they like to play that style. That's why they like to bring people into that particular style of play, because they know that no one else can live up to them as such. No one else can stand up to them. And today they proved it once again. And even EDG, like you said, in that second game, when they slowed down the game, they slowed down the tempo, and it became more about macro rather than skirmishes, they had the advantage. So I think this is such a great example of what both these two teams do best.
And I think we also saw that, if this was like a more bot lane oriented meta, EDG would probably be thriving, right? That's something that we've always said about LPL, right? Is LPL in my opinion are like, we have specialist teams. We have teams who very hard index into their strengths and pretty much ignore their weaknesses and leave them alone and hope their strengths are strong enough to carry them across the finish line. I think FPX, EDG, RNG, Top Esports, RA, like a lot of these teams are like this, and luckily for FPX, it seems like right now is the perfect time to hit their stride.
Yeah, luckily for us, we are going to send it over to a winner.